Oh man, Terence had a great camp. When we're on a Zoom call, we have to wait until they get their audio together. For those of you that's tuned in, salute. Thanks for thanks for tuning in to World Combat Sports. This is a top ranked Zoom call. We've had Maloney. He's already been on deck. Andrew Maloney, Kell Brook, and now the champ, WBA world titleist, Terence Crawford. Once they get the audio fixed, this fight is going down this weekend for everyone who's a hardcore boxing fan that want to tune in to the main event and the fight card in general. Terence Crawford will make a defense of his WBO welterweight title against Kell Brook, who has swum these waters before. You know, he was the IBF champion who defeated Sean Porter. A lot of people are going to continue to basically cast doubt on the level of competition for Crawford. But yet and still, Kell Brook is a fighter who contends at a heavier weight, dropping down to 47. He passed all the medicals, so people should just let it go about the fight he had with Gennady Golovkin and Errol Spence years ago. So you look at one of the contractual agreements is that it's no rematch clause. I mean, is no rematch clause and there's no rehydration. You know what I'm saying? Because Bob Arum, he don't believe in rematches. So the rehydration aspect of it is going to play a pretty okay. Let's get it. Let's get it. What's going on, TJ? Salute to you, man. Appreciate you for stopping in. Hey, they trying to figure it out. It's not me, y'all. I always try to give y'all, you know, the behind the scenes, what's going on with boxing, man. This is a big fight that's going down this weekend. Welterweight division. This fight will ultimately set up a potential showdown with Crawford leaving Top Rank and also potentially him fight Manny Pacquiao for the WBA title. So there you have it. That was the final fighter on the Zoom call for Top Rank. Give me a moment to reconnect some things. So, as you heard the audio, they pretty much touched bases with the different platforms that on the higher mainstream or whatever. I really want to ask Terence a question, being that he is a U.S. fighter, and certain people have to understand that when it comes down to it, people are saying, Kell Brook's a decorated fighter, and all the UK, media that was tuned in, but also you have to look at Terence Crawford as being a decorated fighter also. And then furthermore, when they say that Terence Crawford is stepping in there with someone like Kell Brook, well, Kell Brook is stepping in there with somebody like Terence Crawford. And this is where I'm going with it. It seems like not too many people are recognizing the fact that Terence Crawford has been in front of Errol Spence on the pound for pound list for quite some time. I repeat, Terence Crawford has been in front of Errol Spence on the pound for pound list for quite some time. So therefore, when he fought Sean Porter, who's the IBF champion, Sean Porter wasn't on the top pound for pound list. When Errol Spence fought Kell Brook, he wasn't on the pound for pound list like that in front of Terence Crawford. Kell Brook himself wasn't on the pound for pound list. But now Kell Brook is coming back down to fight at 47 again after contending at 54. He's fighting the top pound for pound fighter, the top 3 pound for pound fighter in the world. So if that fighter is not named Canelo Alvarez, that Kell Brook is fighting, if that name is not Naoya Inoue, who's in the bantamweight division, well, then we have to look at Terence Crawford as being one of the best fighters that Kell Brook has fought. Because we can say Gennady Golovkin all day off the punishment, but you have to take a look at where's the rankings, where's the standings at. Gennady Golovkin, yes, has contended in the same division. Yes, he was the one that was remembered for touching up Kell Brook, when he moved up 2 weight classes against the better wishes of his team. We understand that. Now we have to also understand to basically change the narrative up just a little bit and understand this for what it is. Kell Brook is facing the top pound for pound guy. This top pound for pound guy, Terence Crawford, is the current WBO welterweight champion. Errol Spence wasn't in front of Terence Crawford when he fought Kell Brook. So therefore, people need to recognize that you're talking about a 3-division world champion, formerly undisputed. It comes a time where you have to understand as a hardcore boxing fan that you have to respect the fact that Crawford is a 3-division champion. You cannot continue to say he ain't fought nobody. Because look, he goes in here with no rehydration clause and he defeats Kell Brook. Potentially his moves on the horizon for Crawford to attempt to set up one of the biggest boxing matches in 2021. But yet Kell Brook is the first. Kell Brook's the first pawn on the board. And the reason why I say that is everybody's been hearing, it's been out there that Terence Crawford may potentially make that move. And then it may potentially make it much easier for him to link up with Pacquiao, which would be a huge fight. Pacquiao, Terence Crawford make a huge fight. And I'm gonna tell you, I'd rather see Terence Crawford Pacquiao than Errol Spence Pacquiao, because I really want this fight, this unification to be equal. You know what I'm saying? I want it to be equal. Errol Spence, WBC, IBF, Terence Crawford, WBA, WBO. Yes, I'm giving Terence Crawford the credit to go in here and defeat Kell Brook, and hopefully, if he's able to link up with Manny Pacquiao for a second negotiation for a fight, he pick up that WBA. I just can't see Terence losing to Manny Pacquiao. I don't see it. I don't see it. So let's just say, okay, we have two fighters coming into an undisputed welterweight undisputed showdown on PPV. This is what we've been all looking forward to. We've been all waiting for Terence Crawford, Errol Spence Jr. Now, what I wanted to be is 2-2. I'm not saying that the payout is going to be equal, but for the fans to gravitate to this fight and look at the credentials that both fighters have going into this match, if it does happen, both fighters will have two belts, and it would be clearly no ifs, ands, or buts about it. It would be absolutely clear and transparent as to who is the welterweight undisputed world champion. It won't consist of any franchise belt. It won't consist of anything except the belts that we respect in boxing between these two guys. But some moves have to be made. I know Errol Spence is about to step in there with Danny Garcia. Crawford is able to step in there before him and get this fight with Kell Brook. I'm really hoping, if the word is true, that Terence Crawford is able to get out, make this fight with Manny Pacquiao. We have that fight with Manny Pacquiao lined up for 2021. And then potentially near the end of the year, we see Terence Crawford and Errol Spence step into the ring together and finally fight. Both undefeated. Both these guys undefeated. Top pound for pound fighters in the world. This fight should be much more of a magnitude than Teofimo Lopez and Vasily Lomachenko. Real talk. This is what I'm kind of praying for when it comes to the boxing gods, people. I'm praying for this fight to happen in 2021. We need to see this fight happen. Seriously, we need to see just one clash to settle the score. We need to see this one fight of all fights to step in there and settle all the doubt. We need this one fight to silence all the naysayers. We need this one fight in boxing for 2021. This is what we need, because you're talking about two individuals in the same division that's in the top 5 pound for pound. It wasn't a heavyweight fight that was like that recently, and it sure enough wasn't a lightweight fight that was like that. We can't dip down to the bantamweight with them fighting each other. It's nowhere even close. We can't even go to the junior middleweight. We can't even go with Jermell Charlo and Patrick Teixeira. We can't go anywhere. We can't go anywhere. We can't go to the lightweight division. We can't go to the super middleweight. We can't go to the heavyweight, middleweight, none of that. Junior welterweight. We go right here at the welterweight division, people. That's how special this matchup is. This matchup right here is the creme de la creme. And I don't think people are lining it up as such. You're not lining that up the way it's supposed to be. This is a grand finale of true undisputed. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. This fight right here, Terence Crawford, Errol Spence, if both of these fighters go in here, I'm just saying, I want to see them both in the ring in 2021. But I will more so like that if Terence Crawford and Errol Spence both had two belts. Mano y mano. Mano y mano. Whether it's 70-30, it don't matter. 70-30, 60-40. Make the fight happen. Make this fight happen. Because when it comes down to it, we have two individuals that are the top pound for pound fighters in the world, undefeated, stepping into the ring for a true, undisputed, absent of any franchise belt. That's what I'm talking about. What's going on, D-Ray? What's going on, Mitch? That's what I'm talking about. This is the grand finale. This is the grand finale right here. You can say what you want, how you want. Crawford go disperse a Brook, and they make that fight with Manny Pacquiao. Terence Crawford pick up that WBA belt. You want to talk about a grand finale in 2021? You want to talk about PPV? You want to talk about a live gate? Let's see Terence Crawford and Errol Spence. What's been marinating in the pot for several years now? We have been talking about this forever and a day. You can't compare it to nothing else. You can't compare it to the heavyweight. You can't compare to the freaking what's going on with Jose Ramirez and Josh Taylor. You can't compare to Naoya Inoue because he has two other champions to go through. You can't compare to Jermell Charlo and Patrick Teixeira. You can't even come close to comparing to Canelo because he's up here frolicking around and, dipping in and out of spots, whenever he feel like it. You can't compare to the lightweight division. Hey, T.O. just dropped in. Look, T.O. just dropped into the lightweight division, pound for pound. He just dropped into the lightweight division, pound for pound. If Vasily Lomachenko had been there, but we know them two aren't facing each other anytime soon. And right now, as I stand, they're about 6 or 7 on the pound for pound list. But for these two individuals, Crawford, Spence, and the top 5 pound for pound, welterweight, undefeated. Come on, man. This fight. I'm gonna start up the rumblings again, man. I'm gonna start it up. Man, Crawford gets so much hate, man, as if this dude can't box. He gets so much hate like this dude cannot freaking box. But if you look at the bigger names, it's on Errol Spence's resume. Sean Porter, Kell Brook. Don't do it. Don't bring in Garcia. I don't want to hear it. Now, this Garcia that he's about to face, okay, I'll take it a little bit there. But don't bring in Mikey Garcia. Don't bring in Carlos Ocampo. Don't bring on Lamont Peterson. Don't do it. Terence Crawford's career is still supersedes that of Errol Spence. Still, Errol Spence is a 2-time world champion in a single division. He started off his career at 54, and he dropped down to 47 to campaign at most of his boxing career. Let's understand that. Pac-Man holding that belt hostage. He should fight Spence, both PBC, easy to make. Absolutely. That's all I'm saying, Mitch. We on the same sheet of music. That's all I'm saying, man. We on the same sheet of music. Pac-Man next fight worth too much dollars to strip him and appoint Augusto. Listen, I'm not even thinking about that. That's like one of those hangers that's in the closet and nothing, it's just in there by itself. No clothes hanging on or anything. That's what Ugas, being, that particular scenario you just mentioned with Pacquiao, leaving and freaking Ugas become, no. That's like an empty hanger to me. Nothing on it. It's nothing on it for us to wear as boxing fans. We don't want to see Ugas with that. We want to see Terence Crawford fight Manny Pacquiao. 2 pretty decent checks. Kell Brook. Then he goes over to Manny Pacquiao. Then potentially, and on the second semester of 2021, we get to see Crawford Spence, hopefully. And if that's not the talk, well, I'm sure people are going to be talking about it if he picks up that WBA title. I know a lot of people are rooting and they want to say, oh, man, Spence, go ahead and look good against Danny Garcia so you can fight Manny Pacquiao. Listen, and a part of me want to say that's a bit selfish. And a part of me is saying this boxing is a dog-eat-dog Serengeti. It's the jungle out here. You know what I'm saying? You have to get yourself together and understand people ain't giving nothing out here. They're not in the giving mood since it's, boxing. No, it's never that way. So whoever teams that can make that fight, being that he is a PBC, of course they're going to say Spence. But from what I hear, Terence Crawford is definitely trying to make that move. And if he does make that move, it's going to come at the right time. It's going to come at the perfect time, people. If he's able to slide out top rank, get that fight with Manny Pacquiao, we see it in the first semester of 2021, and then near the end of the year we get Spence and freaking Crawford. Now, in between that time, anything can happen with Crawford picking up Manny Pacquiao fight. Anything can happen. At least Ramirez and Taylor have possession of the belts. Not as big as a fight as Bud and Spence, though. Yeah, they have the belts. They 2-2, right? This is the only thing I'm trying to say. It's the only thing I'm trying to say. I want Terence Crawford and Errol Spence both to have 2 belts heading into this freaking undisputed match. To build up the momentum, the surge, the electricity, to make it that much suspenseful. Ramirez and Taylor, I mean, people, they know the fight is out there. They like, hey, okay. You know what I'm saying? They're not really jumping up and losing their mind over it. They're not popping the cap and toast. Hey, let's toast. It's going to happen. Jose Ramirez, Josh Taylor, it's going to happen. Junior welterweight, let's toast. Come on, everybody. Grab a glass. It's not happening. But Crawford, Spence, oh, yeah. People going to say, hey, gather around. It's going down. Everybody gather around. Word on the street, it is going down. Terence Crawford finally in the ring with Errol Spence. 2 titles apiece for all the crown and glory. Let's get it. Let's get it. D-Hard just said Manny not fighting him. He ran from Bud at 140. You see, once again, D-Hard, if you indeed that's how you feel, it's irrelevant to what we're talking about. Y'all have to jump out of saying who ran from who at this weight class that's not relevant to the current. The current weight class is all we're talking about. I wanted people, gonna then say, oh, well, Crawford stepping in with Manny Pacquiao, he's fighting a freaking light flyweight. Just like they was trying to say of Gervonta Davis and Leo Santa Cruz. No, man. Manny Pacquiao is an 8th division champion. He has several losses on his record, but yet he is the current WBA welterweight champion. So when it comes down to legendary status like Manny Pacquiao, one of these fighters are going to get that fight. It's going to be Errol Spence or it's going to be Terence Crawford. I would definitely like it to be Terence Crawford. It's just going to help the viewing audience merge. when it comes to the betting odds, and when it comes to showing up for the fight, when it comes to purchasing a ticket, purchasing the PPV, it's just gonna bring so many other people to the freaking the stands, man. They're gonna say this shit is epic. Just think about it. What other fight can be that? What other fight can be this big when it comes down to credentials? When it comes to an unblemished record? When it comes to the rankings? This fight is absolutely a grand finale type of fight. When you have two individuals who are sitting atop the pound for pound list. Canelo doesn't have anybody close to him that he's about to fight that's in the top pound for pound list with the belt. Not even close. Inoue, he doesn't. Nordine Bali is nowhere close. Nor John Casimiro. Exclude them out the pictures. We're not looking at any featherweights just yet. You know what I'm saying? Who at 130 is even close to the pound for pound list right now? Who? Burchelt? Nope. Joseph Diaz? Nope. Jamel Herring? Gervonta Davis? Nope. Not yet. He has to defeat somebody. He has just to defeat somebody that's, in his weight class with a belt. Somebody that's at the top of the rankings. Leo Santa Cruz, though he's a 4-division champion, he was currently WBA champion. He was not on the pound for pound list. Terence Crawford is on the pound for pound list, y'all. Errol Spence is on the pound for pound list. This is bigger than any fight. This would be bigger than any fight right now. Errol Spence steps in here. With Terence Crawford. Terence Crawford will be the best. Terence Crawford will be the best. Terence Crawford will be the best. The best name on Errol Spence's resume. He will be the best name on Errol Spence's resume. Yep. I said it. I'm not going to say prove it. It can't be Sean Porter. Just because he was a 2-time champion in welterweight division, it can't be Sean Porter, y'all. It cannot be Kell Brook. Let's be honest. It cannot be Kell Brook. You can't say it's the best. Look, you just can't say, oh man, Kell Brook is one of the, top guys on Errol Spence's resume. But it's garbage when it comes to Crawford. It's garbage because he went up there and faced Gennady Golovkin and got punished. And then he came down and faced Errol Spence and got punished. So he's washed up. You can't say that. You can't say that shit. You can't. The reason why you can't, because you're talking about 3-division champion, former undisputed. Who else on Errol Spence's resume has that mirrored credential, those accolades, those badges to their career? Nobody. Nobody has that. Nobody has that. We're not just talking about 147. This goes a lot. Look, this goes far beyond 147, people. When you're talking about opponents that is on someone's resume, we talk about their entire career. We don't just talk about so-and-so is a single division champion just because they're campaigning at a certain weight class, which happened to be 147. No, we combine their tenure as a professional fighter and what they've been able to accomplish. Just like they big up Lomachenko for what he was able to do, you have to big up everybody the same. When it comes to Floyd Mayweather, when it comes to anybody who's a multi-division champion or a single division champion who has been a multi-time champion. Gervonta Davis is a 2-division champion, 4-time world champion. When it comes to Crawford, the numbers go up compared to Spence. I know a lot of people want to put Spence ahead because of the popularity factor, but no, man. He fights Terence Crawford. A formerly undisputed 3-division champion. Terence Crawford pick up that belt from Manny Pacquiao. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. That'll be the top name on his resume, whether people like it or not. Because you can't big up, like I said before, you can't big up Kell Brook when you're talking about Errol Spence. You can't put all this damn halo. You can't rain down all these sun rays on freaking Errol Spence. But then that same guy who Errol Spence fought not too long ago after he stepped back down from Gennady Golovkin, Errol Spence punished the left side of his face and stopped him in a war. So you can't big him up and then say he's returning to 147 to face Terence Crawford and he's garbage. Just because his popularity isn't that way over here in the UK, Kell Brook is making a last-ditch effort for some big fights. And he's been calling out Terence Crawford. Obviously, he feels that he can give him a go. I'm pretty sure he's seen the fight with Mean Machine. And he said, you know what, I'm a better fighter than Mean Machine. And Mean Machine, with his freaking amateur pedigree and his professional record, if he can come over here and give Crawford problems, I can too. That's the mentality Kell Brook probably has. So if he chooses to go in here and make it a tough fight and he's able to get the win, I'm gonna say, damn, that's what you're supposed to do. Kell Brook got it done. But it's up to Crawford to stop that, man. It's up to Crawford to go in there and get that win. We got to stop sitting up here redirecting, judgment on fighters because you're trying to find a reason to say, I want to see them lose. He's 36-0, 27 knockouts. I want to see him lose. I want to see Errol Spence, who came back from a car accident, who stepped in there with Sean Porter. I want to see him go ahead and defeat Danny Garcia and then get all the belts. It's only right. No, that's hating. That's temporary language. That's hating right there. Real talk. Whomever looks worse will probably get Pac-Man. Well, people was up here saying that, Devin Haney was up here, not trying to perform at his best, so so people can get in line to fight him. I thought that shit was hilarious. I thought that shit was absolutely hilarious. I don't think Errol Spence or Terence Crawford has that mentality. A lot of people try to say, well, Errol Spence, he didn't want to go in there and make it look easy against Mikey Garcia. No, he was in there giving Mikey Garcia the business. Mikey Garcia just had solid enough of his defense so he wouldn't get knocked down, so he wouldn't get stopped. Mikey Garcia, who moved up from 35 to 47, did not get stopped by Errol Spence. But it's the fact that he moved up 2 weight classes. People are not understanding. They want to say, well, he didn't move up. He did, man. He went back down and fought Robert Easter and moved up. Look at the box rec, man. Look at the box rec. Look at the box rec. He didn't go from Sergey Lipinets all the way up to the next stopping point. Mike Garcia moved up and faced Errol Spence, man, and went the distance with the boogeyman, supposedly. He went the distance. He went the distance, y'all. He went the distance with Sean Porter. That's all I'm trying to say. You know, a lot of people don't give Crawford credit. Errol Spence went the distance when he stepped up competition. His step up competition was Mikey Garcia and Sean Porter. Yeah, I don't really put Mikey Garcia in it, but I'm talking about his step up competition as far as their resume go. Mikey Garcia is 4th division champion. He's trying to become a 5th division champion. He himself is trying to make that fight with Manny Pacquiao. That's the reason Mikey Garcia left the sport when he did, to get out his contract so he can make moves like he's doing now. So remember, he's lurking around. He just came off that Jesse Vargas fight. He's lurking around. But Errol Spence step up competition outside of Kell Brook. I know I got Lamont Peterson there. And he did what he needed to do with that. But when he came to Mikey Garcia, 4th division champion, UD, when it came to a 2-time world champion, Sean Porter, split. And if it wasn't for the knockdown, you know what it is. But he got the knockdown, boom, on to the next. Now it's Danny Garcia time. And the big question is Errol Spence? Is he still the truth and then some? That's the question we want to ask right there. AJ Fury, but AJ has a loss on his record already, but that's a big fight. Like I was saying in comparison, Mitch, when I was using my analogy, all right? I'm not saying it's not a big fight, but neither one of those guys are top 5 pound for pound, big dog. That's what I'm saying. AJ and Fury is not top 5 pound for pound in the world. These two individuals are top 5 pound for pound in the world. Top 5 pound for pound in the world. AJ and Fury are top ranked in the heavyweight division. Errol Spence and Terence Crawford are top pound for pound in the world. Makes a big difference, man. And we all know, this is not a heavyweight affair about resumes and all that. I'm talking about the ranking system. I'm talking about undefeated records. Rankings, undefeated records. The time we're talking about undisputed, unblemished, all that U talk, all that capital U, undisputed, unblemished, unification, all that U talk, that capital U, all that shit matters when it comes to Spence and Crawford. But we just have to see what plays out because, like I said, I hope Crawford, get this out the way and he's able to link up with Manny. I really don't want to see Mikey Garcia go fight Manny Pacquiao in the interim. I don't. But Manny Pacquiao, as we know it, is an older fighter now. Errol Spence, of course, I want him to go in here and look better than what we ever seen him. We just blessed to have him back in the ring because we've seen fighters over time that have accidents and vehicle accidents and injuries in life and their career is over. It could have been the same way with Errol Spence, but God blessed him. He's back. Errol Spence is back. He gets a second-hand at life, not only for his career but his family. So he goes in here and freaking defeat Danny Garcia. Okay. Another good name on his resume. That'll go in the same group as Mikey Garcia, Sean Porter, and then Danny Garcia. So what's next? We need to start building up the flame and then that gas to start saying, okay, it's about time for us to start talking about Errol Spence and Terence Crawford again. Because goddamn it, if Terence Crawford lead top rank and they make that Pacquiao fight, which was going to be PPV, that'll give Terence Crawford time, to get, some PPV numbers with Pac. Them to lock up those PPV numbers, get people to tune in. They come back with solid numbers. Then it sets up the right showcase and everything for a clash for the undisputed titles, man. I'm talking about the biggest fight. Top pound for pound guys, unblemished records, all that youism, that youism, undefeated, unification, undisputed, unblemished. All that language right there, all that youism, it goes down if these two are able to make these moves and maneuver through the boxing game, man, and defeat their opponents the way they're supposed to. 2021 might have a glimmer of freaking hope, people. We might have a glimmer of hope. They still young enough, competitive enough, and they have that old in their record, baby. So when you got the wheels like that, it's time to ride on into this undisputed bout. It's time to start talking. If freaking Terence Crawford is going to hit the garage and pull out back out of top rank and pull into freaking PBC, oh snag it. Oh snag it. We might have something developing here. We might have a fight. We might have the puzzle pieces coming together. We might start to see the stars aligning and see this fight in 2021. This is a big fight. People are not giving a lot. Man, I'm talking about, man, this is a big fight, man. Look at, rewind this and check out, the bullet points that I dropped out there for you on why this is one of the biggest fights. This is one of the biggest fights. If it happens in 2021, it'll be one of the biggest fights, even in 2020. Seriously. Because this fight right now has been boiling the right way for a long period of time, and nothing's been done about it. The pandemic hit, and then they was like, nah, this shit can't happen because it needs a live gate for the Errol Spence Terence Crawford fight. You know what I'm saying? It needs a live gate. Now that partial live gates have been completed, we didn't get any freaking negative press from the Gervonta Davis Leo Santa Cruz fight. And I'm talking about live gates on the big stage now. We didn't get no negativity from it. None of that shit. Now we have the next one that's on deck with Errol Spence and Danny Garcia. So that's only going to set the stage for 2021. Believe that, people. Believe it. Believe that. Top 5 pound for pound, 2 welterweights in the top 5 pound for pound. That fight easily. Look, Errol Spence, Terence Crawford. If Terence Crawford, I would say if Terence Crawford gets this WBA belt, that fight easily, in my opinion, does over 3 1/4. It does 3 1/4 easily. Easily, people. People are going to be, look, this is going to give you that vibe like Conor McGregor, Floyd Mayweather. I hate to use that analogy, but it's going to give you that vibe because The only reason that Conor was getting any love that he can go over there and stop Floyd Mayweather because he was a 2-division champion at the time. So they really thought Conor could come over there and knock out Floyd. So many people was betting on it. With this fight right here, people can talk all the shit they want over here. They got to call this a 50-50 fight. They can't get in here and talking about this a 70-30. Errol Spence gonna walk. Errol Spence gonna walk over who? He went the distance with Mikey Garcia, y'all. The man is coming off a vehicle accident, a horrific one. All this time, Terence Crawford's been training. He's been doing what he's been doing. Talk about the Jose Benavidez. Talk about it. Go ahead, talk about it. He stopped him. Jose Benavidez was undefeated. I mean, what can you say? You want to keep on talking about Jose Benavidez with a nobody? He stopped him. He didn't go the distance with him. This is what I'm trying to tell y'all. Terence Crawford still is ahead of Errol Spence when it comes to being one of the best in the game, even at welterweight. Because what he was able to do when he first stepped up there, he stopped Jeff Horn. 18-0. He stopped Jose Benavidez Jr. 27-0. He made Amir Khan quit. Still a TKO. Mean Machine, 21-0. TKO. We ain't gonna talk about Julio Sandongo. 22-0. This man got so many O's on his freaking last 5 opponents. This man got O's everywhere. All he need, goddamn, just pour some milk in there, goddamn. This man got O's all over the place. And the fighters that he stepped in there where he was supposed to finish, he did. He finished them. He finished them, people. You can't sit up here and continue to cast judgment on this man and say he ain't shit. And every time welterweight come up, you say Errol Spence, Errol Spence, Errol Spence. The man did the same thing Mikey Garcia did. Mikey Garcia move up. He fought Sergey Lipinets at 40. Boom. He gets a fight. He go the distance. He go the distance with Errol Spence. Terence Crawford move up from 140. What happened? He stops Jeff Horn. If it was so easy, why didn't Manny Pacquiao do it? Why the hell didn't Manny Pacquiao do it? He was able to go in there and defeat Keith Thurman. I mean, come on now. I'm breaking down some bullets, y'all. I'm keeping it light too. I'm keeping it very light. I'm breaking down some boxing bullets for you. He wasn't able to go in there and beat Jeff Horn, but then Manny Pacquiao, came around to get a title fight again with Keith Thurman, and he was able to get the job done. So why are you not going to give Terence Crawford his credit? You got to give him his credit. He beat Jeff Horn in his first fight at welterweight. Them a lot of O's. And Dongo, Horn, Benavidez, Mean Machine. A lot of O's over there. A lot of O's, shouty. Victor Postal. Gave him his first loss. There's a lot of O's on there, y'all. I'm telling you. Terence Crawford has a lot of O's on there. You just can't wash them away like it's Windex and shit, like you're doing window washing and say, oh man, Terence Crawford ain't did nothing. This makes for one of the biggest fights in boxing, bro, because both of these guys are top pound for pound dudes with an undefeated ledger. going in for the undisputed unification welterweight fight. There's nothing else comparable to that. Anthony Joshua, freaking Tyson Fury. No, when it comes down to the stats, they don't measure up. They don't measure up. What are you going to give freaking Anthony Joshua credit for losing to a last-minute replacement who already had one loss to Joseph Parker? Andy Ruiz wasn't a champion heading into that fight with Anthony Joshua. But in this scenario, Terence Crawford and Errol Spence will both be champions. Boom, coming together. Coming together for a nice one. That's what I'm talking about. Alexander in the building. Salute to you, man. E245, salute. What's good? What's good? He says Spence versus Bud is the biggest fight to make in boxing, bro. It is, man. It's huge. Why people not talking about this? This is a whole look. I'm not even doing this live justice because this is a whole nother live. I'm going to jump on. I got to jump on another live and talk about how big we got to start, like stirring this up. You know what I'm saying? We got to turn up the burners a little bit and start heating this topic of discussion up about Errol Spence because, the election already went down. It's about to be the end of the year. We're looking forward to 2021 with some big boxing matches. The biggest one of them all, like I say, is Spence Crawford. For anyone out there want to big up Errol Spence, and I'm an Errol Spence fan, Terence Crawford fan. But at the beginning and the end of the day, I'm media. I am boxing and MMA combat sports media. And you cannot tell me that you're going to big up Errol Spence off one division, being a two-time world champion, that you're going to just erase everything Terence Crawford has done in his career. If it was that easy, he wouldn't be sitting in the top pound ranking as long as he hadn't. Because there's no way logically that you're going to take a 3-division and formerly undisputed and put him below. Put him below, y'all. Put him below Errol Spence. Now I'm going off the top of the dome. Tell somebody, look, tell me one boxer outside of freaking Terence Crawford who is a multi-division champion, undisputed, undefeated on the pound for pound list. You want to try Arthur Beterbiev? Nope. You want to try Gennady Golovkin? Nope. You want to try Manny Pacquiao whenever he pops up? Nope. You want to try Teofimo Lopez? You can't. You want to try Vasily Lomachenko? He never was able to unify an entire division. Come on, man. Stop playing with me. He never was able to unify an entire division. Maybe if Vasily Lomachenko would have defeated Teofimo Lopez, different topic. Different topic. But he's right where he's supposed to be, outside of the top 5. He shouldn't even be on the list, to be honest. But people still give him, he still has it in him. That's really his first loss when it comes down to ESPN. ESPN has said basically they basically rendered that first loss with Salido none and void. So they erased it. So his only loss right now they giving him is Teofimo Lopez. No, man. Vasily Lomachenko has 2 freaking losses, bro. Who else? Who's outside that we can kind of compare? Because there's no way you can put Errol Spence in front of Terence Crawford if he defeats Danny Garcia. How is that? How are you going to say, well, we're going to put Errol Spence in front of Terence Crawford if he defeats Danny Garcia? And Danny Garcia, just because he stopped Adrian Granados, but yet he lost in a fight where he was contending for the vacant WBC title against Sean Porter. How can you put him just off Danny Garcia in front of Terence Crawford. Terence Crawford's 36-0, people. He has more experience on the books. Come on, let's be real with ourselves. Let's be real. Y'all can't sit up here and act like multi-division champions don't matter. You can't do that, people. You can't pick and choose and say, man, this is my favorite fighter, and yet I'm going to try to diminish and devalue and try to discredit everything else the op has done in boxing. You can't do that. That's wrong. That's casual type shit right there. You got to give Terence Crawford his credit, man. He's right where he should be. He goes in here and defeat Brook. Freaking Errol Spence defeats Danny Garcia. How can he go in front of Terence Crawford? How? How, Sway? You don't have all the answers. Sway. How, Sway? You don't have all the answers when it comes to this scenario right here. Because when it boils down to it, man, people need to just recognize, instead of picking sides and acting like this boxing shit don't matter. You gotta understand. If we comparing opponents, let's not sit up here and say, oh, Terence Crawford goes in here and stop Kell Brook in better fashion. Oh, Errol Spence already did damage to him anyway. Oh, Gennady Golovkin already did damage. No, the man has been on a 3-fight win streak since. So therefore, you cannot sit up here and act like he's just a bag, a ragu bottle, empty. Tomatoes land everywhere. You can't do that. You got to give it credit for what credit is due. Kell Brook passed medicals. He's scheduled for this fight. And, keeping our fingers crossed with COVID and everything, they're able to go into the, this whole week in the bubble, COVID free, and go in there and get it in. Get that smoke. Terence Crawford goes in here and beats Kell Brook, and just say, for instance, he stop him. People need to then wake up and give him his credit. If they raise any type of finger, people, it should be their thumbs, and it should be a thumb up and say, okay, respect there, Crawford. Let's start talking about you and freaking Errol Spence. But first, we need to see Errol Spence in here with Danny Garcia, and then from there, the rest, the beginning of 2021, end of 2020, into 2021, we're going to start talking about that damn Terence Crawford, Errol Spence talk again. We're going to start building that up again. That's what we want. That's what we want. I read what you said, Rapstar. When people put that label on somebody, only thing I would tell him, if you can relay the message, since you came over here and told me that, he can tell me that. He know where I'm at. He can tell me that. How am I a hater? When black people use that hater word all the time, they need to kind of turn their neck in reverse, go backwards, go in reverse in life, and gather that evidence and know that I'm not a hater. I'm one of the most non-biased cats you'll speak to. But when it comes to black people trying to act like, you need to jump on this, that, and the other, now it's either or. You support the fighter, and you over there, just supporting the fighter as a whole, as a young man in the business and bringing them up. It's all good. And then you get the ignorant side of the house when people try to say you're actually goo-goo and infatuated with the fight and you want to jump on the bandwagon. A 50-year-old man is jumping on the freaking bandwagon, you say. But all I was doing was supporting your son, your fighter. How am I a hater? See, you can't go through life bigging up other channels who's sitting up here just actually going in on you, and you over there on the channel. Oh, that's why I fuck with you. I heard what you said. Oh yeah, I like when you keep it real. So basically, if you looked at my live about Devin Haney fight, then you would know a hater wouldn't have gave him credit for anything. So I can give a fuck about that. Real talk. I can give a fuck because that's untrue. I don't have time to go up here and hate on fighters just because they want to they want to gather a whole community to self-promote. That's cool. That's smart. But don't sit up here and say that I'm a hater just because I'm not sitting up here bigging up and talking about your son every other day. You got to take the positive words that I'm speaking along with the negative. You got to take both sides and blend them together and be mature about it. Because being a hater, I don't have energy I never have in life. I don't have the energy for that shit. Never have. I never seen the reason to hate on another person. And in this boxing game on media, people are quick to say you're a hater if you're not sitting up here supporting the popularity vote. The popularity vote don't win you the election. We've seen that shit already. The popularity vote do not win you the election. It's who's elected. So when it comes down to that, if you want to talk boxing, Teofimo Lopez was the one who got the shot at Lomachenko when you all was chasing him. So don't come at me talking about somebody's hating. That shit really never vibe with me because that's not who I am. And why am I even explaining it? I'm not gonna sit up here and talk about the same fighter every day. Don't y'all consider that dick riding? Isn't that dick riding? I call it cockologist. That's not even a fucking word. But I just said it's cockologist. When you sit up here and yell, kick, and scream one fighter's name when there's plenty of other fighters out here that should be getting equal press. Several other fighters. My catalog, I have black, white fighters, Mexican fighters, all that shit. Amateur fighters, professional fighters. Get out of my face with that shit. You got a clown out there wearing big shoes and want to goddamn he need. See, I don't need, I'm my own man. I don't need to wake up every day and scream the same man's name unless it's God. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for, if it's a prayer, don't get me started, man. He know where I'm at. When you was asking for me to come over there and help with interviews and shit, I did, right? Respectfully. But if indeed he did say that, I don't understand it because I was absolutely respectful. It's just the fact that I wasn't conforming and saying, yes, I'm a 20-year United States Marine vet. Ever since boot camp, I ain't never been a person that put my heels together and say, yes, okay, all right, ooh, yeah, Never. Got no reason to hate on him, man. Do what you got to do. I wish y'all nothing but success. Not one time have I said I wish his son to get beat. Never. Get out of here with that, man. You're talking to a grown ass man. Just like you can go to every panel and talk, you pick and choose what platforms you want to pull up to when they dogging him out and they really don't like him. But yet when it comes to some black platforms, you want to come up and say it's time to show my gangster. Like you talking to a young person that never been nowhere in life. I'm boxing and mixed martial arts and media. I could care less about what's going on with a platform who talks about one fighter. That's what he does, and good. Keep on doing it. Keep putting in that homework. Keep yelling, kicking, and screaming. Because every time, if I raise my voice a little bit louder, they say it's emotional. But when I hear people yelling and screaming the same stuff all the time, what is that? Is it menstrual? Is it menstrual? Is it excessive blood loss? What's going on? Is the pad too soaked? Don't fire no shots at me, man. Talking about no hater stuff, man. Nobody got time for that. Man, they know he knows where I'm at. They pick and choose who and when to pull up on, but check my catalog, man. Check it out. I don't sit up here and compete with anybody. I stay in my lane, do what I got to do. But there go the link, Link. There go the link. Anyone want to say I'm a hater? Prove it. Boxing fans need to understand one thing. When you got a person like myself that report on the sport in general, they got to pick and choose on how they want to criticize you. So I support Deontay Wilder. I'm a fanboy. I support Teofimo Lopez. Oh, you ain't about the black fighters, dude. Hey, man, my brother. They want to get on here and talk all this shit and give this damn black history speech when they the racists. And you know who you are too. But this is supposed to be about Terence Crawford and Errol Spence. Individuals that are at the top of the food chain right now. You know what I'm saying? Individuals that are at the top of the food chain. That's who I'm talking about. Individuals at the top of the food chain in boxing. If you check out any one of my lives, and if you choose to say you don't tune in and you don't pretty much listen to my show, okay, cool. But you can't have it both ways. Like either you tune in or you don't. If you do, then guess what? Guess what? You need to understand where I was coming from with that. And that's what it is. It don't matter what my skin color is. Because to be honest with you, when you're around, I don't have to sit up here and ask about how my own kind, my people act. I've experienced it. I know what it is. I know what I am when I wake up in the morning. And I know what hating is. I don't have to go around here to prove anything to anybody about black boxers, black MMA fighters, by interviewing them every week and putting a damn thumbnail up there about that shit. I done seen him jump on many platforms and disrespect people. I can say he a hater. I don't have no reason to hate him and his son. But at the end of the day, I'm a grown ass man. That's what it is, bro. I wish them nothing but success. I ain't never said anything. I did think he got smoked when he went over there and punch drunk freaking interview. I did think that. I still think he was on life support. Absolutely. Because when you get used to pulling up on people, sometimes you get complacent as to how deep the waters is. Nobody have time to be hearing that. But I can tell you this, Terence Crawford and Errol Spence, we need to start, getting the talking points back in. You know what I'm saying? We need to start getting the talking points back the way it is. You know what I'm saying? Building this fight up, putting ingredients back in there and talking about other fighters. Black fighters at that. Let me make sure I put black fighters in there. Because there's too many people running around here yelling and screaming, man, black lives, my God. But if black lives does matter, why are you dogging out black boxers? BBM don't matter? Yeah, y'all make me laugh, man. BBM don't matter. Black boxers matter. BBM, they matter. Because in one setting, you got people over here giving all these damn black history speeches.
And then they come around here dogging out other black fighters. So which one is it? Is it BLM or BBM? Because it ain't both. Because on here, I see black fighters get dogged out by black media for the test of time. They press the gas on their ass. Easy. Yeah, I mentioned Deontay Wilder. Hell yeah, I will. Calling another man's father a bitch, that's a hater. That's what you call a hater. If you want the fight, try to get the fight. You fail once. If you want the fight, make the fight. You was chasing and you lost. Tiafimo them got there before you did, got the fight, won, completed. Now what? Maybe he'll wrap up the present for you, tie that ribbon nice and tight, and get it in. You know what I'm saying? Y'all be able to damn fight for undisputed. Find one freaking message that I was hating because I'm not a puppet. Don't nobody have a hand in my back. Ain't nobody paying me. Even if you were, I would decline it. I wouldn't talk about one fight every day because I'm doing myself a disjustice. If I said Devin Haney don't have no power, that's just my opinion. That doesn't take anything away from me saying that he's a damn good, technically sound fighter, a boxer. So what y'all niggas talking about? Y'all 1 minute want to talk about keep it real. I like when you keep it real. And like I said before, I only pay attention to the ones that are real. Because the ones that are real, they're going to keep it that way. Not the ones that come up out and say some shit for everybody else to like. Let me see if so-and-so like this. Let me see if so-and-so like that. That's not keeping it real. That's keeping it all the way fake. That's what that is, man. Y'all need to get the shit simple. Stop creating ghost accounts. You know, come over here and goddamn have a sensible conversation, man. You ain't dealing with no little kid. You know how many boxers compete in the sport? Do you know how many boxers compete in the sport? If you was to take most of these individuals, put us on a platform like Jeopardy and ask questions outside of a keyboard, it'll be a whole different story. But we have the opportunity to research, and come out here and talk to you, the supporters of whoever the platforms are at, any way we feel like. And then we have that knowledge, that common knowledge. But I'm going to tell you, some of the individuals that's out here, if it was to be an open setting and you've been asking questions in a forum, random boxing questions, the response and the knowledge, the depth of knowledge will be much different, people. I promise you that. It'll be much different for a lot of us because you will have to damn study deep from the new school to the old school. What's going on, Jackal Fitness, AWD, the real ones, UGK, what's good with you? I know I was going to wait for somebody to ask me that question, Mitch. Who do I have in the Spence versus Crawford fight? And I'm gonna give you the realest answer I can possibly give, Mitch, because I'm not a fake one. I'm not gonna pick and choose who everybody think. I really couldn't tell you, bro. I can't tell you with them. The reason why I can't tell you, I have to see how both of them look in these upcoming fights. I couldn't tell you who I got, and that's the only way I can respond to that. I don't know. People can get up here all day long and say, well, I got Errol Spence. Why you got Errol Spence? What fight can you mirror up? What fight? Sean Porter? You gonna keep on saying Sean Porter? So you're gonna compare Sean Porter to every fight that Terence Crawford has had in the welterweight division. Hey, good luck with that. Because it's two different style of boxers. If you're gonna compare the Sean Porter fight to Terence Crawford, then guess what? You gotta compare the fact that he went the distance with Mikey Garcia. Everybody that Terence Crawford was supposed to get out, he got out on. Hey, E240, E245, man, I don't have no disagreement with that. If you feel that Bud, will win, cool. Right now, if you would have asked me this without the car accident, I would have gave you a straight answer. You know what I'm saying? But I'm just waiting till these two fights come on. I'm just waiting. That's a 50-50 fight, in my opinion. I just can't get one over the other. Man, y'all need to understand, like, man, come on, man. Like y'all keep putting these labels on a certain half of the fighters, man. You know what I'm saying? Like the person that feels that they in favor of Spence, they support them. The ones who in favor they in favor of Terence Crawford, cool. They extremely lean over to that side. But once again, I'm combat sports media, man. You're not gonna sit up here and influence me and have me up here talking about one fighter in particular because that's what the masses are talking about it. I gotta look, I gotta do my assessment, and then that's where it's at. But Rap Star, I hope you wasn't over there instigating that. All I'm saying, I hope you wasn't an instigator. Because look, it's not needed. Because I don't want nobody to come tell me that you was over there instigating. I don't have to. I already told you my age. I'm not going around here pretending that I'm trying to complete preschool right now. How many fighters do we have in the sport for us to be going around here talking about one man and his son, and just because somebody's not freaking saying all the good graces all the time, assessing a boxing match, they pick and choose who they want to go, go talk about so and so a hater. How is that possible, bro? Anyway, it's not time. It's not anything I need to keep on talking about. But I hope you wasn't the instigator over there because I'd be disappointed. I believe Bud is a better overall fighter too. I got Bud by split decision. Okay. Y'all didn't ask me who was the better fighter. You asked me who do I have in that fight. I listen, man. I listen to shit that y'all say. I listen. You know what I'm saying? I listen. If you want to ask me who I think is a better all-around fighter, I think Bud is. I think Terence Crawford is a better all-around fighter. Y'all didn't ask me that. You asked me who do I have Spence versus Crawford. It's right there. Let me put it up. Just so you know, hey, I'm not making this shit up. I answered your question. Who do you got Spence versus Crawford? I don't know. But who I believe is a better fighter? Terence Crawford. The better boxer. Terence Crawford. I would have liked to see Terence Crawford fight somebody that's a common opponent like Sean Porter, because I have mad respect for Sean Porter. He's always in shape. Even though his performance sucked against Jordinas Ugas, it still comes down to, he showed up different than he did against Danny Garcia. He showed up to Errol Spence different. And in the way he, that dog nation style he got caught with a left hook. So when you live by the sword and you get cut by it, and that's what happened. He got cut by it. And that determined the freaking win, man. He was turning Spence easy out. He was turning him out, boom, boom. I mean, he was a stronger fighter. That was a good fight, man. But I don't know who's going to win that fight. Just ask me a couple of, some months from now. And then also, look at what I told you. I think Terence Crawford is the better boxer. You know what I'm saying? But y'all be sure to subscribe to Jacko Fickens, AWD approved. Go check them fellas out. They doing it big over there. Check out the fighter Jahad Tucker. You know, Jackal Fitness have a lot to do with moving that kid, man. Young hit in the game. He wore the LeBron James jersey. I'm talking about shit that's productive to talk about in boxing. I'm talking about people out here behind the scenes that's doing productive moves. That's not even out here on social media. It's like, oh, look what I did. Look what I did. They just posting shit. They letting you see how they're contributing to the sport. Jahad Tucker didn't even have any professional fights. His first fight is on TV. Boom, 1-0. Stops him in the first round. And from what I understood, the second fight was 6 rounds. Who does that? You go from a 4-round fight to a 6-round fight in your second professional fight on TV against a guy who tried to sneak punch you. They try to sneak him. Like this young guy, man, he ain't paying attention. He thinking about going home playing Fortnite. He ain't paying attention. Jahad Tucker dipped up underneath that motherfucker like it was cool. Like, okay, let's go. Let's go. Keep on moving, Jackal Fitness. Salute, man. Keep on moving, bro. Keep on moving. But yeah, man, y'all pay attention to that. He should be stepping back in the square again, Jahad Tucker. Y'all be sure to check on him. You know, support him. Be sure to subscribe to Jackal Fitness. He just did an interview with Buddy McGirt. I saw a little interview that was out there with Jahad Tucker that was talking to Sugar Ray Leonard. I mean, like, this productive nuggets. These are the productive jewels in boxing. You know what I'm saying? That's going on. That's the shit I used to. That's the shit I'm concerned about. Not all the other stuff trying to be a part. I've been black all my life. I don't have to sit up here 50 and be a part of a black community every time I open my mouth about a fighter. The fighter has to be fucking black. I talk about mixed martial artists too, grappling, all that shit. Like I said, anybody pay me to talk about one fighter, it will never happen. Never. Off topic, what do you think about Jared Anderson? Good question, bro. Good question. I think tool-wise of Jared Anderson, tool-wise, he can box. Tool-wise, in his cachet, man, he has sound fundamentals for heavyweight. We've seen him switch it up, you know, delegate, go to the body, you know, get behind the stick, use his jab. He's in the heavyweight division, though. And of course, they building him up to be the next. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just hard to follow in the heavyweight division as the next until we see you in there with decent competition. I'm talking about, I want to see how Jared Anderson is going to be once he step in there with a much taller, rangier fighter. I think the fight before last, he kind of emptied his gas tank and he was trying to knock the dude out. And that might have been to his immaturity a little bit, just to go in there and show out for the fans that was tuned in. You know, because in the heavyweight division, it's all about getting that knockout. But he went back to his corner and stuck his tongue out. And that let me know, shit, he was gassed. He has to be more smarter than that. But he can definitely box. He can definitely box. Jared Anderson can box. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. And he has pretty decent foot movement too. Make no mistake about it. Dude has promised to do big things in the sport of boxing. Absolutely. I just want to see when he decides to step up to so many, man. Look, it's so many freaking heavyweights out there, bro. Like, for Jared Anderson, he's going to be extremely tested. He's not the most tallest, but once again, his skill set right now is a plus for the heavyweight division. Because with heavyweights, you get so many different styles. The only thing really separates a heavyweight, when it comes down to it, first and foremost, is okay, we got to look at the physical attributes. And then outside of the physical attributes, you got to start factoring in their cardio. Then you got to factor in their how they move around the ring. Heavyweights aren't the most mobile boxers in the sport. We're talking about the heaviest division. Of course, we want to see how much power they present. Do they have that equalizer to change the game? That once again, we're talking about the heaviest division in boxing. And also we want to take a look at, do they have a decent chin? Because if one heavyweight is sending the punches, they got to be willing to receive the punches too. So how's Jared Anderson going to fare when it comes down to him, being in a bit of a firefight? You know what I'm saying? That's questions like I would say about any fighter that's on the come up. That's common language across the board. But I like him, man. I like Jared Anderson as a boxer in a division like that. His discipline. I just want him to slow it down a little bit and freaking let the fight play itself out. Don't try so hard to go in here and search for the knockout, because he's not going to be able to knock out everybody he steps in the square with. Just take your time and you're going to get the job done, Jared. You're going to get the job done. And most of all, Ricky, is the fact that the fans like him. A lot of fans like Jared Anderson. And I thought it would be a little bit of, he would be frowned upon just a little bit because he had the Real Big Baby as an alias. But I'm like, Jarrell Miller has faded out a little bit. This young lion has came up and saying he's the Real Big Baby. And people really hasn't frowned upon him for that. They're like, okay, cool. We like this dude. We like this boxer. All right, cool. He going in there. He putting on a show. All right, that's what's up. Can he be the next Deontay Wilder? And when I say the next Deontay Wilder, I'm talking about earning a championship, which is held by two guys. Tyson Fury is 6'9". All right. Anthony Joshua, he's a little bit shorter. Both of these guys have fought. Anthony Joshua came in his heaviest around 254. That was probably around, Carlos Takam. And this is at a point where they agreed upon 235, and Anthony Joshua came in there 254. But anyway, Tyson Fury came in there like in the 270s. What is he going to look like cardio wise when you get a fighter like Tyson Fury leaning on you? Even Deontay Wilder, who has an equalizer and used to fight at lighter weights, he's innately gifted to be able to do that at a lighter weight to knock dudes out. I'm trying to find out what is Jared Anderson's gift at heavyweight as a boxer, besides his skill set. Because he can box, like I said. Jared Anderson can box, and he has pretty decent power. But you just can't have decent power in the heavyweight division. We found that out against with Andy Konoski and Robert Helenius. Andy Konoski went up there and defeated Charles Martin, and people was like getting behind him like, damn, this dude can box. He went in there with what some people consider the oddball in Robert Helenius, and he stopped him. So the dynamic in the heavyweight division, it just plays out so much different. You don't have the perfect boxer. The heavyweight division is the top of the damn pecking order. And the way they go out here and fight isn't something you would see fundamentally as you can look at it and say, yeah, I'm gonna train my fighter to be like that. Because that's the hate that Deontay Wilder received. But with Jared Anderson, people will say, oh, I like what he's doing. Okay. Man, okay, I like that. I like that. I might try to teach that. He has a lot of areas to his his freaking boxing that you can take and say, okay, let me apply that if you're a boxer or you're a trainer. So, you know, he may be one of those guys that that is in the good graces of the US fan base. And, you know, he's been over there in the UK training. He trained with Tyson Fury. So therefore, he may have some UK fans also. But at the end of the day, Jared Anderson is going to have to win over the US fans too to be that superstar. If he's able to do both and mesh them together, then he has unlimited potential out there. But he needs to totally understand now. When he's winning, everybody's on his side, giving them all the damn cosigns and thumbs up and saying, hey, Jared, man, we like what you're doing in there, man. Keep on, keep that gas coming, man. Keep that gas coming. We see you. Keep on gassing, man. We see you. Time you face adversity or freaking, you know, you get stopped or you take your first loss. I hope he's strong enough to understand to keep fighting. Don't worry about it. And understand that's how these boxing fans are. 1 minute they with you, 1 minute they not. He said, I like Jared too, but he needs to work on his defense. He leaves himself wide open too much. And see, with his defense, that goes with him increasing his competition. He hasn't fought any, the people that he's fought so far and the way he's been touched up sometime. I just left that out because I'm waiting for him to like step up the competition though. That's what we're gonna see. The competition he's been in there with, basically he did what he's supposed to do. But when he really starts to step in there outside of matching him up with guys who aren't too overpowering, then we want to see how he handles the height. We want to see how he handles the damn cardio. We want to see how that defense plays out. Because all that plays a significant role in how tired he's going to get. Because if you got a fighter that's pressing you and got you on the end of their jab and they pressing you and you got to make changes and you moving around the ring just a little bit more. I think it was one fight that I seen Jared Anderson on the ropes like that. He can't do that as a heavyweight. You can't start taking rest unless you got that countering ability. You know what I'm saying? Unless you got that brutal hook or that uppercut, you can't just lay your ass on the ropes like that as a heavyweight. And you in there with somebody who has some damn good power. They're gonna blast his ass, man. So, like I said before, I'm not trying to prognosticate the damn his fate as far as taking his first L. But I'm just saying, like, he does have improvement, but he has very good boxing skills. I like what I'm seeing. He has a lot of room for growth. But so far, with the competition he's got, he's did what he's supposed to do. Now I can see if he was on the let's say for instance, when Clay Collard stepped in there with Mike Kaminsky. Clay Collard has had, you know, some losses here and there. He stepped in there with Kaminsky. This dude was 19 years old, undefeated. He was the favorite to go in there and beat Clay Collard, if I got his first name correct. Clay Collard beat the brakes off this guy. Clay Collard beat the brakes off this guy. Gave him his first loss. I'm just hoping that's not the first time we see Jared Anderson take his first loss, because, you know, he's growing and he's shown that, you know, sometimes he try to go too deep in the well to get a fighter up out of there. He needs to be more patient and let the fight play itself out. You know, let the knockout come. Don't try to dig and you got a tough big head fighter in there, a brick head in there, and he can take the punches, and you gas yourself out, and then for the next round you still gassed. And then one more thing with Jared Anderson, I just have this question. I just want to know, is he really disciplined outside the ring? And the reason why I say that is because he's been gaining. You know, he's steadily increasing weight. So I wonder how disciplined he is. I'm not sure if it's because the quick turnaround or whatever, but he's been putting on some pounds and he's still young. You know what I'm saying? So I'm curious to know, is he disciplined? Is him and his team trying to get him at a certain weight to compete? Or is he a little bit undisciplined with the fork? Because we all know Jarrell Miller's undisciplined with the fork. He can't say no. But that's where I'm at with him, man. You know, I had to shout out my man Regis Prograis, man, and getting that victory. I would have liked to see Regis Prograis face Mario Barrios. He beat Ryan Call that night. So shit, why not bring Regis back to face Barrios, man? That would be a good matchup at that weight class until we're able to see if Regis is going to get a shot at Josh Taylor and Jose Ramirez winner. You know, that's a big deal. Let's see how that plays out. Let's see how that plays out. But the elephant in the motherfucking room, y'all. Canelo Alvarez and Caleb Plant. Goddamn. Who y'all got? Who y'all got on that fight, man? Who y'all got? And just give me like, how do you see that fight playing out? Canelo Alvarez, Caleb Plant. Drop it in the comment section. How do y'all see that fight playing out, man? Canelo had people out here dragging him and shit, you know, because he wasn't able to get the freaking results he wanted in the first litigation. Came back, refiled. They gave him a deadline. Came back, refiled. Boom, he gets released. Now he comes out. Now this is my only problem. They are scheduled, in my opinion, from what I heard, they are scheduled for December 19th, I believe. I need to double check that. Let me double check that. Is this where I'm going with this fight? Yeah, I was correct. So Canelo Alvarez comes out, he wins this. It's November 9th. So you're trying to tell me just over a month, heading into December, 4 or 5 weeks? You trying to tell me this shit came out of nowhere? That you're gonna fight Caleb Plant? Because listen, like I try to tell people, this is somebody who stay close to motherfucking boxing and mixed martial arts. I was just doing boxing, that should be easy work. But you trying to tell me somebody like Caleb, who was just saying that he wouldn't take the fight with Joseph Benavidez, who he absolutely hates, because they were trying to send him a contract without enough time, and his body wouldn't be rested enough. But yet, Canelo Alvarez just win this lawsuit, come as a free agent, and Caleb Plant is the opponent with 5 weeks. I think they already knew. I think Deontay Wilder them they weren't planning on getting this fight date for them. So somehow, some way, this shit has been in the works. There's no way that Caleb Plant is going to step in there with Canelo Alvarez and he wasn't already in fight camp. Seriously, people. I don't think Caleb Plant would have took that risk. He's the IBF champion. He's undefeated. You know what I mean? There's no way he can just come out the blue and say, you know what? I want to fight Caleb Plant. 20-0, 12 knockouts. And check this out. Before this lawsuit, word even got back, you didn't see nothing on BoxRec. And now that shit's on BoxRec scheduled. 5 weeks. He has about 5 weeks, really. He has less than 5 weeks if you're looking at the time it was announced to win the fight actually going down December 9th. This is the backhanded shit that's going on with boxing. How you know they have fights that's going on behind the scene, and then other fights fall out, and they put all these other excuses up there as to why that fight didn't happen. But all of a sudden, we're seeing Caleb Plant step in there in the biggest fight of his career with Canelo Alvarez, and there was absolutely no talk. You know, not too recent. Several weeks back, what do we see? He was trying to fight for the vacant WBC against Abney Yildirim, right? A former sparring partner of his. That got shut down by the zone. And then another name popped up. And then all of a sudden, this money issue started coming up that they wanted to pay him much less because he wasn't so-called living up to the expectation of his contract. He wasn't fighting a premier opponent at least once a year. So they was like, hey, you're not honoring your contract. So that's when all the litigation shit happened, and boom, he's a free agent. But man, the unification is on the unification is on the horizon, y'all. The WBA and the IBF. We all know this opponent would be much more respectable for Canelo Alvarez than Rocky Fielding. You know, Sweet Hands is definitely a much more respectable opponent than Rocky Fielding. We totally understand that. So there you have it, people. You know, this shit is going down. You know, Caleb Plant 6'1". I mean, I've talked to him several times in person. I interviewed his trainer. So I'm really curious to know, you know, what the plan is going to be. And I'm gonna try to get his trainer back on here, man, if I can. I'm gonna try to get his trainer on for an interview again, man. Seriously. I'm trying to make that happen. He said, I think Canelo win easily. Shocking to some, but not to me. Okay, when you say TJ easily, what we talking about? Just give me a little bit more breakdown. Canelo 12 round. Okay. Ricky said 12 round decision. Okay. So TJ, what are you saying as far as easy? You talking about early stoppage? What are we talking about? Be a little bit more specific, man. Well, yeah, TJ. Ricky said he thinks it's a 12-round decision. I want to know easily. You think it's going to be an early round stoppage? What you talking? I'd be surprised. In my opinion, I'd just be surprised he go in there and stops Caleb. Caleb's a slick boxer, man. I mean, slick. He can box, man. I just can't see him being stopped by Canelo. I really can't commit to that. I think if anything, I'm going for Caleb, to be honest. I'm going with Caleb Plant. That's my guy, man. I'm going with Sweet Hands. I'm going with Sweet Hands for sure. Let me know what you think. I don't want to go. That's gonna be a big fight, though, man. Seriously, that's gonna be a big fight. Real talk. You can't sleep on that for the big fights that's happening. Tyson Fury is basically on that too. Tyson Fury, he's fighting Caballero next next month. What you know how that shit goes, man. You know how that goes. People are gonna tune in to see him fight another Sefa Safari, Francisco Pianetta, Tom Schwartz, Otto Wallin, Tom Schwartz, Francisco Pianetta, Sefa Safari. I mean, come on, the shit don't stop. We wanted to see was Deontay Wilder, period. So we have to wait on that fight. We have to wait on that fight, man. Do you think Wilder versus Fury 3 happens? Man, I'm thinking that shit might happen in 2021, man. That's all I can say on that. I think it'll happen in 2021, to be honest. I think it happens in 2021. And it's too bad it's not happening this year. But the good thing about a fight like that, when it went down in February is the fact that, you know, it's PPV and it was a packed house. So what it does is allow for hopefully a little bit more time to pass by, so it can be PPV and a live gate, so they can make as much money as possible. Now, of course, we've been hearing in the media, and sometimes people just grab off the top and run with it. You know, people thinking that Tyson Fury can just go in here and fight Joshua for the freaking undisputed. It's not going to be that easy unless, you know, behind the scenes, the teams are working together with the legal parameters of that fight, because it is a contractual agreement that's binding between these two. I know there's so many people that's jumping on the platforms talking about the contract has expired. Why did Deontay let the shit expire and all this other shit? People, it's not that easy, man. Read a little bit, you know, reference your sources. Eddie Hearns has said himself that they expect Team Deontay Wilder litigation. They expect some type of legality from Team Wilder. That means something legal. They expect them to file something legal for this fight. So if it's expired, why is he putting in the media that, okay, if that fight between Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua cannot happen due to Team Wilder filing some court documents, you know, to take this fight to court, we're gonna put in there Alexander Usyk. Like I'm saying, man, so many people just want to listen to shit all the time. They listen to one freaking source. Why would Eddie Hearn put that out there? Why would he just say, you know what? They agreed for 2 fights. We plan on fighting freaking Tyson Fury, Anthony Joshua twice in 2021. Why is nothing being installed? Why isn't any promo going on? If the contract expired and we're not getting Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury this year, why isn't there's any promo after he steps in here with Caballero for him and Anthony Joshua in 2021? Why isn't that? Because it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen unless certain other things, the teams, you know, that's outside my scope. You know what I'm saying? It's still a lot more technical paperwork and legal parameters that has to be zipped up behind the scenes. It's been said that they will have to basically get the agreement from Wilder and make an agreement to the point where he gets the winner of Joshua Fury, and or they provide him some type of compensation. Whatever you want to throw in there, they were saying it has to be some type of compensation for that, like a step aside. But that's not really, he already enacted his freaking rematch clause for the trilogy. So it's not going to be any step aside. I don't think Deontay Wilder really wants to give Tyson Fury that benefit of going on and fighting for the undisputed before he steps in there and try to get his title back. Because we're talking about millions here. We're talking about several millions of dollars that Deontay has to earn, that he's basically out there as a heavyweight, and he could benefit to earn if indeed he wins his title back and face Anthony Joshua undisputed. But what I can assure you all, because every time Wilder name pop up, all these individuals want to damn talk about damn personal shit all the time. What I can assure you is that Deontay Wilder as a fighter, I truly believe he has enough in him to come back in here and get his title back. The second fight, in my opinion, will not reciprocate the same type of punishment or the outcome that a lot of people are hoping with, Deontay Wilder's taking the punishment the way he did and all that. And the towel being thrown in the ring. No. If he gets that WBC title back, Anthony Joshua will somehow bail out on a mandatory and goddamn get off one of those belts. Because I'm gonna be honest, I don't think Anthony Joshua ever want to step in the ring with Deontay Wilder right now in the next 2 years. He doesn't want to. Anthony Joshua ain't trying to see Deontay Wilder. Just go back, just peel back the months on when he was talking about a restraining order. He didn't want Deontay Wilder next to the ring. He didn't want him coming in the ring. But yet he had the Klitschko brothers in the ring and all this other shit. Anthony Joshua don't want that smoke with Wilder. But to answer your question, man, I'm hoping that shit goes down or we hear some type of official news in 2021 that this fight can indeed happen. The trilogy is going down. Because from what they were saying is Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua will fight twice before Deontay Wilder will get a shot at the winner. He won't get a shot at the winner until the second fight. That's what I read in the article. I haven't even really did a live on it. That's where we at, though. So those of you, fans out there in the heavyweight division, just stay positive. And let's see what pops. You know what I'm saying? So I am looking at more tweets back and forth. To switch it up again before I jump up. I see more tweets back and forth. I see Devin Haney sent out a tweet of Gamboa landing one of the only 3-punch combinations on him. You know what I'm saying? Because the whole purpose right now, Devin Haney is saying he wanted to prove to us that he can pitch a shutout, right? But he did get touched. He did get touched in that fight. Let's be honest. Gamboa did land some shots. They wasn't shots to the point where it caused him to wear the fight. But he wanted to prove for a 39-year-old dude that he can pitch a shutout. He did that. But he just sent a text out showing that Gamboa landing the 3-punch combination when Tank Davis was kind of leaning over to Gamboa's left shoulder. He got a little complacent, and that was the best combination Gamboa landed. I was right outside the ring when I seen it. I was like, okay, damn, Gamboa landed some good shots right there. But besides that, there is the other half of the fight. Shit. Goddamn, Gervonta was dropping dynamite on that ass. Shit. Gervonta was dropping dynamite on him. I can understand, since I just seen this tweet come out, right? I can understand why people are looking at people will come out and say, you hating this and that because they're trying to big up the fight. And they're trying to discredit everyone who's not sitting up here kissing their ass, right? But they need to understand that when it comes down to the lightweight division, if Team Teofimo Lopez provides them the opportunity to fight, then kudos, you get the fight. But make no mistake about it, if they don't fight a Devin Haney, it's not going to ruin Teofimo's career. I say again, for those of you that totally understand that Teofimo Lopez holds all the cards in the lightweight division. So if he chooses to give Team Haney a shot, then kudos, so be it. I mean, we'll get to see an undisputed. We'll get to see for all the belts. We'll get to see all the belts. We will get to see all the freaking belts on the line. But Teofimo Lopez versus Devin Haney is not the biggest fight. Just to be honest, that's not the biggest fight at lightweight. When it comes down to the money and the easiest fight to make and all that, it's not the biggest fight. Teofimo Lopez versus Gervonta Davis, that would be a bigger fight than Devin Haney. It may not, strike the chords, to the tune of certain people, but when it comes down to it, it will. And then, according to how Ryan Garcia looked against Luke Campbell, his name was absolutely going to come into the equation of who they want to throw in there and make this fight for the money. Ryan Garcia followers will somehow match up with Gervonta Davis or Teofimo Lopez. They're going to get them followers one way or the other. Plus, Ryan Garcia is one of those guys that's looking for that breakout fight. Luke Campbell isn't the breakout fight for Ryan Garcia. It's a step up, but, he's coming off a loss. Let's be honest. So if he's able to get a breakout fight with one of the big names at lightweight, then that's what it's going to be. If it's Gervonta Davis or Teofimo Lopez, that's what it is. But to keep it a buck, Devin Haney still needs to build up his star power. So keep the circus and the carousel going. Keep the same clown yelling his name back and forth, and you'll do just fine. You do just fine. You know what I'm saying? Keep the hand in his back nice and solid. Keep him smoking up on that gas. And then you would get people to continue to know. I mean, if that's the mouthpiece that you want with that brand, then so be it. But one thing I understand, one thing I totally understand about that though. I know one thing that I totally understand from all the interviews I watch, because I freaking surf this motherfucker like I'm in Hawaii, goddammit. I'm surfing this media wave like on a longboard. You know what I know? Devin Haney ain't fucking with him. Some of the best interviews I've seen is outside. So it's all good. Use the name, pimp them like a hoe, get the views. Cool. That's cool. But when it comes down to it, Devin Haney is a better person than Devin Haney. His whole persona is detached from that. That man was over there talking to Jay-Z, man. The man was over there talking to Jay-Z of all people. You think he give a fuck about a dope head? You know what I'm saying? You think he give a fuck about a dope feed? Haney's on a whole nother level. See, that's what I'm talking about. I keep it, I'll divide it however I see fit verbally. You know what I'm saying? I put it out there. I don't have time to hate on shit. But don't come for me on some stuff I can't be held accountable for. Haney is not fucking with that side of the yard. He's a much cleaner dude. Shout out to iKeek TV, one of the best interviews out there, Devin Haney, period. iKeek TV, one of the best interviews out there. Real talk. Keep on doing interviews like that with professional cats, professionals that's treating a fighter like they are a star in the sport. That's how you want to portray the brand. That's how you want to raise the brand. That's exactly how you want to raise the brand. Seriously. I'm being honest, man. Not the Ringley, Barnum, Bailey circus. Not fucking Sesame Street. But y'all keep your eye out for this Crawford fight, man. You know, show some love, man. It's gonna be a legitimate fight, man. Saturday night versus Kell Brook. I mean, hey, you can't sit up here and call Kell Brook garbage. You can't do it. But I will give you some snippets on what Crawford has mentioned leading up to this fight, in quote. Crawford said, when anybody and everybody asks me who I have for my pound for pound number one, I look at them like me. What are you talking about? And do you see how the disrespect is? Like, who would ask another man that's on the top pound for pound list, who do we have as his top pound for pound? What is he supposed to say? He's supposed to be a coward and not identify himself as a top pound for pound guy? Y'all want a motherfucker to have no confidence? So Crawford told Andre Ward in a sit-down interview aired on ESPN Sunday night, I feel it in my heart and I believe it to the fullest that I am the best fighter in the world. And why shouldn't he feel that way? He said, I'm so naturally gifted, God gifted, with all my abilities and tools. I have what other fighters don't have, Crawford told Ward. I have the heart, I have the skills, I have the speed, I have the power, toughness. I can switch, I can fight inside, outside, going backwards, forward. I can counterpunch you. There's no fighter in the game today that's shown what I've shown. Man, if you cannot frame any more, if you cannot articulate any better, coming from Crawford himself, man. I don't know what to tell you, man. He said it. He said, I have the skills, I have the speed, I have the power, toughness. I can switch, I can fight inside, outside, going backwards, forwards. I can counterpunch you. There's no fight in the game today that's shown what I have shown. I don't know about you, but that says a lot. That's a solid summary right there. I ain't gonna lie to you. I'm not gonna lie to you, people. That's solid. That is absolutely solid. I ain't mad at him either. Talk that talk there, Crawford. Talk that motherfucking talk, dog. And my last is going to be the situation with the article that's out here about Mark Breland. And, you know, a lot of people are saying that, you know, Deontay Wilder's making excuses and coming out and basically, you know, saying what he said against about Mark Breland. And the only thing I have to say is it's easy for somebody to jump on board of the same person that they was criticizing anyway. And just hear me out on this, because motherfuckers are always quick to goddamn come up here with a G-string on, and they sitting up here saying that, you know, Deontay Wilder should fire his own team when he was undefeated, right? But yet Mark Breland was a part of that team. So you was pretty much dogging out Mark Breland, when Deontay Wilder was winning. So now that he got fired for multiple allegations of, for one, throwing the towel in, allegedly spiting the water, and being a double agent, working for one camp to the other, and all this other shit. You know, people not taking in consideration how long Mark Breland been with Wilder and everything else. So people are on a pity party, and of course the investigation or whatever, you know, it has to play out what it is. But what you don't see is defamation. You don't see anything coming out for defamation if Deontay Wilder is absolutely lying on both Tyson Fury and Mark Breland. Deontay Wilder came out and quote, "In the midst of it all, you still couldn't keep this king down." You know, that was part of it. Wilder 42-1-1, 41 knockouts, stayed in the Instagram video. We already know what it was. Accusing Fury of having cheated in both of their fights, but also addressing the actions taken by Breland. You have had to kill me. In the end, it took a crap in a bucket referee, Tony Weeks. I don't know what we're talking about. You know, for those of you, I don't know what that is. I have to dig a little deep into the Tony Weeks situation, and a disloyal trainer to throw the towel in just to stop me. So we all know that Tony Weeks was not the referee in there. So that's why I read some of this shit. And some of these guys, you know, I write sometimes myself. So I'm not sure what Tony Weeks has to do with this, to be honest, because we know Tony Weeks was not in the fight. Anyway, moving on. Anyone who really knows me know I wouldn't go back and forth with anybody unless it's in the ring, Breland said in a release statement on Money. I've been boxing since I was 8 years old, so I didn't have a big portion of my life to the sport. So I didn't give a big portion of my life to the sport. I dedicated my entire life to this sport, but I've never seen the things I'm seeing now in all of those years. I'm only on social media because of my girl. We went somewhere and there was a picture of me, and she said, "This is one of the reasons you need social media in this day and time." She said, "There are people who have admiration for you, and social media is the way to give them some access to you." She asked me all the time, am I tired of it? Do I want to go back to life without it? I always say no, because the amount of support, love, and gratitude I get let me know all the hard work I put into my career was worth it. That's from Mark Breland. I looked at and read thousands of video texts and comments, and I wouldn't put up 1,000 of them if I could. I mean, I would put up 1,000 of them if I could, because so many of them was 100% strong, but I can't. But I do have a file for all of them that move me. I thank all of you for your words. Let me add this last. The Twitter pic that's out there is not from me. It's not how I speak. And just to break that in, basically it's a tweet that came out that was fake, as if it was Mark Breland with the check mark. And he was saying that, he not only spiked his water, pissed in it or something like that. Let me see that I usually freaking put that in my archives. I might. Let me see if I was on my stilo. Let me see. Let me see if I got that shit. Let me see. Because I probably didn't, because I knew it was fake. Seriously, I probably didn't because I knew it was fake, man. I probably let that shit ride. And I believe I did. I did, because it was fake. Okay. It's not how I speak, and there's nothing funny about this show that's going on. Stay well, and I'm still standing. They go on to say Breland has since been replaced in Wilder's corner by one-time former foe and longtime sparring partner Malik Scott. JD's continues his same role as head trainer and co-manager Wilder. Roles he has maintained since 2008, Olympic bronze medalist and former heavyweight titleist, first donned a pair of gloves. So I just wanted to leave y'all with that, because it's still ongoing. And, Deontay Wilder, of course, has caught a lot of heat from individuals who just want to, jump in and say that he ain't shit. I mean, it's nothing different than what he heard while he was champ. So, continue to bring it. And, you ain't talking about he ain't a weak dude. He can't be weak with how many wins and knockouts he got. So we'll see how this play out, man. If he had a reason for coming out with it, we'll definitely have to see how it plays out over time. I'm not wishing that type of heat or derogatory defamation on anybody. But we know on this social media, people talk reckless. People talk reckless. But it's those individuals that allow some of them to get away with it. And they co-sign it, but yet they want to always talk about black power this, black unity this, black power this, black unity this. When in the interim, they the motherfuckers is out here prejudiced. They want to talk about blacks need to do this, black needs to be that, and they ain't never led shit. They want to preach and stump their feet. But yet, what was BBM when Wilder was champ? Did black boxers matter then when he was champ? Because y'all was dogging the shit out of him, those of you that was out here. Y'all was wishing hell upon him when he was in there with Fury in that rematch. When he went down, y'all was jumping. Y'all was praising, clapping. Not everybody. I'm just saying a lot of motherfuckers in the U.S. was damn clamoring for his motherfucking downfall. And he got the loss. Y'all was happy, but you still wasn't satisfied. You know why you weren't satisfied? Because you wanted him to come out and talk about it. So he stalled y'all out for several months, and then he finally came out. Boom. Y'all go back to day one. He's mentally broken. He's clinically depressed. Why would he come out with these allegations? That's all I'm going to say about that, man. Mitch say, Kell Brook ain't trash. However, I do expect Crawford to stop him. What round you expect him to stop him? What round? What round do you expect Crawford to stop him? Because you know there's no rehydration clause now. So he might have just a little bit more padding on there. You know what I'm saying? Look, this is what I'm saying, Mitch. We didn't think Errol Spence was going to stop him, and they went to the 11th, right? We didn't think Errol Spence was going to stop him. So if Crawford stops Kell Brook after competing at 54 for 3 fights, does that, outside of a championship belt, place higher than the performance that Errol Spence put on? If Crawford is able to go in here and stop Kell Brook. I know Kell Brook was coming down from 60. I'm not saying nothing about that. I'm saying this man has been competing several fights at 54 for him to come back to 47, and there's no rehydration clause in there. He balloons back up way past 155 on fight night. Easy. Kell Brook probably be 155, 160. That's a little bit over 10 pounds. That's possible he's going to be over, I give or take, easy over 155. Easy over 155. He's already talked about it, that it's going to be comfortable for him to make that happen. So, we stay tuned to what it is. We'll see how the fight plays out. If either fighter looks struggling, I know damn well Bomac and Terence Crawford is not going to, have Terence Crawford saying, hey, man, I know we usually don't go up past this weight on fight night, but there's no rehydration clause. And Kell Brook is going to come in big as a motherfucking house. Maybe you need to pack on a little bit extra. I don't think they're going to do that. They're not going to jeopardize their tool set. They're not. They're going to stay light. They're going to use their agility, in and out, cardio. They're gonna encapsulate all the basics that's gotten them to where they at. Be able to be fast, use his speed when they need to, always have that cardio, and they're gonna try to break Kell Brook down, man. They're gonna try to break his ass down. Serious. Break him down, period. But y'all hold it down, man. Take it easy. It's been a pleasure. Turn up and tune in to World Combat Sports.